All right, what is going on, everyone? Austin Krueger with Cheesehead TV, coming at you this week. We're going to do some, let's just call it Packers prospect review. Let's go over a bit of the potential first rounders for the Packers, what they bring, and why they kind of make sense. So to kick off this whole slate, let's just jump into it quick. Some quick recaps of some players. Walter Nolen, defensive tackle. Ole Miss will be the first player we're going to go through in this slate of coverage on some potential first-round picks. But to get right into it with Nolan, biggest thing that comes across with Nolan is every year, his 3 years of college ball, he improved as a pass rusher in run defense, as at Ole Miss, Texas A&M, and how he specifically might fit into what the Packers are looking to do on defense. Well, he's got that big athletic profile, physical gifts. It's just really everything Gutekunst has a history of taking almost exclusively with players across his defensive line that he's been building up. Rashawn Gary, Lucas Van Ness, Devontae Wyatt, all very similar type of big, athletic, physically gifted dudes. It's just the Packer mold. It's something Gutekunst is leaning into, and why Walter Nolen is a very obviously intriguing prospect for the Packers at pick 23 for that reason alone. Not to mention the stats, the tape, what's jumping off. So from 2024, we can look into it. He raised hell from the 3-tech position. He even said it himself at the Senior Bowl. His best work is done at the 3-tech, maybe the 4-eye position, lining up on the inside shoulder of the tackle. But he moves unbelievably quick and nimble for a 300-pounder. Someone who can bring pass rush and run defense dominance from really anywhere across the interior defensive line. Something that the Packers just really don't have really working for them right now. If you think about what they got in place, it's a lot of not one-trick ponies, but Wyatt, great as a pass rusher, not great. Good pass rusher, not that good as a run defender. Slayton, good run defender, not a great pass rusher. Kenny Clark, hope he gets back to his pass rushing and just overall dominance, but who knows at this point during age 30 season. Brooks and Wooden, both really good, nice players, but at this point in the career, just still not guys you really want to be starting as, on a regular basis. So Walter Nolen definitely projects as someone who can get in on that defensive line really quick for the Packers and give them a jolt to something they don't really have, and that is a bit of a more complete player across the defensive line. Second best run defensive grade among defensive tackles in the entire class this year, behind only top 10 pick Mason Graham. Man, if the Packers want to move up for him, no problem with that. But back to Nolan, fifth most stops in run defense this year. But of all the defensive tackles with at least 20 stops, he had the second lowest miss rate. He's really good at finishing plays. That much has been pretty evident for his career. Again, if we're thinking about what the Packers have now, Devontae Wyatt definitely improved finishing plays a little bit this year. He getting hurt definitely slowed down what seemed to be a good development for Wyatt, but for his career, he finished with 72 stops and only 5 missed tackles. Just consistent. He gets the pause on you, you're probably coming down. Speaking of coming down, third most sacks amongst defensive tackles this year, 7th most pressures, 35, 7th best pass rush win rate among defensive tackles with at least 130 snaps in true pass sets. The Senior Bowl as well definitely raised a stock. Had a very good week in one-to-one drills. He flashed a menacing first step for a 300-pound fella. That boy's got a quick first step off the ball. Where he can improve, where he can afford to improve, is his pass rush plan, but he's flashed numerous ways of winning. That said, didn't post the greatest win rates in general or in true pass rush sets, so somewhere he can grow, and really just comes down to getting better with using his hands more consistently. But it really is all there for Walter Nolen in terms of the upside to be a complete defensive tackle in the NFL. Impact player on day one, someone who can jump into a starting role really quick. And when you think about the Packers, the long term is really under question right now. Walter could enter year 2 as the starting defensive tackle realistically for the Packers with Kenny Clark. If it doesn't turn around, Packers could say we want out after this next season before the big time roster bonus come to Clark. And at that point, Wyatt, who knows? Would love to see him, kind of just keep stacking some wins this year. Stay healthy would be great for Wyatt because the potential is absolutely there. But again, maybe the move is to move off Clark. You keep Wyatt around, and then you have Nolan Wyatt, which, maybe it could end up being everything the Packers were hoping it was supposed to be with Clark and Wyatt that hasn't just really come to fruition yet. With the defensive coordinator change, Clark having a down year, Wyatt getting hurt and still just struggling to be really complete. But Walter Nolen, a lot of upside, a lot of potential, would make a really nice fit. He's exactly the type of player profile that Gutekunst looks for. Should he test well at the combine as well? It's unlikely he even will be there at 23, but at this point, there's a very, very real chance he is there at 23 and will make a ton of sense for the Green Bay Packers.